class. I put in a short through them, so if you need to pause and play, you can. Number one, Jason reads 126 pages in 6 hours. Joe reads 115 pages in 5 hours. How many more pages per hour does Joe read? What are some keywords in there, class?
Per hour.
More.
How many more, which means I need to subtract. Can I subtract them as they are, though? No. Yes, ma'am. I need to figure out how many pages per hour. So that actually tells me how to set it up. I don't want to figure out how much they are in 6 hours or 5 hours. I want to first figure out how much is in 1 hour. Very good. But again, this tells me what I'm going to do over what. Pages per hour means I'm going to do pages per hour. That's how I would set it up. Okay, so looking at Jason first, I would put what over what?
26 over 6.
Over 6. And I need to get that down to how much?
6. No.
If I want to do per hour, I need to get that down to 1 hour. So how do I get there?
By dividing by 6.
Divide by 6. Did y'all already do that, or do y'all need time to do that now? Okay, Mia, what did you get?
I got
21. Y'all agree?
Yes.
I agree as well. Okay, so that's for Joe, or no, that was for Jason. I need to do Joe, and I'm going to do the same rate, that's pages per hour. For Joe, it's what over what? It would be
115 over 5.
very good, and I need to get that down to
1
1. So I need to
divided by
divide by 5.
23.
And we got 23. So have I answered my question?
No.
Not quite yet. I still need to figure out how many more. So I need to
Subtract
21, take away from 23, I get
2.
2 more pages. Is there a question? Is there a question? I'm just asking. Okay. All right. The next one, what are the values of point X and point Y? Neither one of those has a number on them, so we're trying to split a number for them. Okay, Malik, what did you get?
For X, I put down -8.5.
Very good. -8 and 1/2, or you could do -8.5. Very good. Awesome. Thank you. Sammy, what did you get for Y?
-7.5.
-7.5 or -7 and 1/2. Okay, what was the tricky part on here?
But that's not switch.
It's like flipped because
It is subtraction. I mean,
it is negative. Very good. So that means like 0 is over here, and as I move, as I move away, that helps. Because if I see -7, I bet some people got tripped up and might have put -8.5 for Y on that stick. But hopefully now. Okay, so I will collect those if you want me to, and I'll hold those until tomorrow. If not, for those of y'all who did do the triangle homework, were there any questions?
No. Yeah.
Okay, let's just review while people are looking over it. What does Ms. Adams like to see on every single one of her geometry? I like the FSS, and F stands for formula, then substitute and solve. So with triangle, who remembers the formula for the triangle? Thank you, Christian, for raising your hand.
A equals 1/2 of B times A.
Very good. In class, let's review those letters. A stands for area. A stands for area. The 1/2 means 1/2. B stands for
Base.
H stands for height. What has to be true about the base and the height of the triangles? There's one specific thing. The base and the height have to be what to each other? Not parallel. It's another keyword.
Perpendicular.
Perpendicular. And what does it mean to be perpendicular? They have to make what kind of an angle? A right angle. So, does the base always have to be on the bottom? No, because if I look at question number 2, is there something on the bottom? There's a point on the bottom. But couldn't I do like a rotation situation? Oh my gosh. So then I have a base right here, and the height has to be what again? It has to be perpendicular, so it has to be straight up and down. So that's how they use the base of 5 and a height of 7. Okay? That same rule applies to parallelogram. The height had to be straight up and down, and it's going to happen today with our trapezoid. Okay? The height always has to be perpendicular. okay? Again, we are talking about trapezoids. I'm not gonna record this activity, I'm gonna sort of get into the notes, but before we do, I wanna review what it means to be a trapezoid. If you remember, I did like the little family tree thing, quadrilaterals, there's two branches off the quadrilateral. There are parallelograms, and then there are trapezoids. Does anyone remember what the difference was between the two? Yes, ma'am.
Parallelograms have two sets of parallel sides, and trapezoids only have one.
Very good. Okay, so let me draw those shapes for each one. So a parallelogram, there's many varieties of them. Yeah. Let's pretend that's a square. Trapezoids. Oh. Okay, so parallelograms, as Ian just reminded us, parallelograms have two sets of parallel sides. I don't know why I'm talking parallel sides. Where trapezoids only have one set of parallel sides. Okay, so like in here, I see this is parallel to this. I see this is parallel to this. Okay, and this one is at the top and bottom or the sides that are parallel? The sides are parallel. The top and bottom eventually would run into each other. Okay, they're not perpendicular, but they would eventually intersect if I extended those lines. So when it comes to trapezoids, let's go ahead and look at our star chart and put our finger on the star chart where we see the trapezoid formula. Again, fingers on chart, on the actual chart. You have to put the chart on top in order to put your finger on it. Which is so confusing. All right, what did you notice about that formula? Or will you read it for me real quick? In parentheses. One plus 18 equals parentheses. Okay, that's a whole bunch of something. There's a bunch of that.
Would that be e to the power of 1?
It would not be to the power of 1. That is called a subscript versus a superscript, which is not important to know. What it's saying is that there's going to be two bases in the trapezoid, base 1 and base 2. So while we're looking at this, the things that I highlighted in purple on the trapezoid, those are the bases. The bases always have to be the parallel sides. Okay, I cannot say the ones that intersect, those will never be the bases. The bases in a trapezoid always have to be what to each other? Okay, let's get more than we go then. The bases in a trapezoid have to be parallel. Okay, it does not matter which one is base 1 or base 2, as long as they are the parallel side. Okay, yes, sir. Correct. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into some practice. With trapezoids, you can solve it in probably like 3 different ways. I'm going to show you those ways. Ones are you're probably more likely to lean towards one than the other. Okay, so again, I'm not going to focus too much on how they got the formula. I'm going to show you real quick, but it's a little weird, so we just look at it. All right, so what it says here is a parallelogram can be decomposed. It can be broken down into 2 congruent trapezoids. Congruent means the same, two equal trapezoids. And that's what they showed here. They took one trapezoid and then they rotated and put it on the other, and together those two make not a rectangle now, it makes a parallelogram. But again, I don't want that whole parallelogram, I want only how much of it? Half of it. Okay, so we're gonna sort of go through one of the methods we see today, takes us through that parallelogram and then breaking it down into the trapezoid. But that's how they got the formula. Okay? But when I break that down, again, the bases have to be what? We just said the bases have to be parallel to each other. And the height, once we remember about the height of a shape, it always has to be, the height has to be perpendicular. That height has to make a 90-degree angle. So let's look at this first example, method 1 for solving for a trapezoid. It says to duplicate the trapezoid, so make a copy of the trapezoid upside down to make a parallelogram. Okay, so I have a trapezoid right here. I'm gonna duplicate it and rotate it somehow, right? So I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make this base length and I'm gonna put it up top here. How long is this base length? Let's count. It's 7. So I'm gonna extend this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go with it. Let's see it. Okay, this base I'm gonna put down here. How long is that? 3. So I'm 1, 2, 3. And then I'm gonna do a really good job of drawing a straight line. Do we see how that's sort of the same trapezoid but split? Okay, but together, all together, it is a parallelogram. And so, hey, do y'all remember how to find the area of a parallelogram? If you don't, where is it located? Yeah, on the start chart. So let's start with that parallelogram. What's the formula?
A equals B times A.
Very good. So let's substitute in some values. Could I figure out the base length of that parallelogram? Yeah, what is it? What is the whole base length of that parallelogram? I'll give you a hint. It's 3 plus 7. 10. Okay, 10. And then the height must be
10.
okay, it has to go straight up and down. I see that they did this dotted line right here.
Perpendicular.
Yeah, it has to be that perpendicular. How many units tall is this thing? It is 8 units tall. Okay, so together the area of that whole thing is going to be 80 units, right? Units squared. But I want to find the trapezoid. How many trapezoids are there? There's 2, and I only want one of them, so I need to find half of it. Okay, so the area would be, the area of just one trapezoid would be 40
Units
units
squared.
squared. Okay, 40 square units. That is a way to do it. I understand that a lot of y'all probably won't do this method because it's sort of weird to copy and paste it, but it's a way if it works for you. Heads up, please. You would probably want to, when you do it, if you did this method. I'm going to show you 2 other ways to do it. Again, I think this is probably the least common, but if it works for you, it works for you. Again, I'm going to go ahead and skip because I want to get through all 3 methods to make sure you have practice time, so I'm going to go to the next page. If you want to pause and do that one on your own, you can, but with the recording, I'm going to move on. All right, method 2, it says to break down the trapezoid. What do y'all see they're breaking it down into? I see, it's not a square, it's a rectangle and, what are those shapes? Right, two right triangles. Do y'all agree with that? So, could I find the area of one, all 3 of them, and then what would I do at the end?
Add them all up.
Add them all up. We can absolutely do that. Okay, so let's start with a rectangle. Okay, what's the formula for a rectangle? A equals 8. Okay, substitute in our values. The base of that rectangle is 6. Thank you, Daniel. And our height of that rectangle is times 5. So therefore, the area would be 30. Again, is that the whole thing or just part of it? This part of it. Okay, I still need to do the triangle. So what do you notice about those triangles? They have the same base. And then, so like, could I put them together and make one big triangle? Okay, it doesn't matter as long as you make sure, like, if you do each one separately, you would multiply it by 2, or if you wanted to do one big triangle. I'm going to do one big triangle. I'm going to combine it. Okay. So if I combine those 2, what's the formula for the triangle? Very good. Either one is fine. I'm going to do the one that's on the start part. 1/2 BH. Substitute in my values. A equals, I'm going to go ahead and do that 1/2. The base, be careful. What is the whole base length? How did you get 60? Okay? On both sides. Very good. So that's going to be 6. And how tall is that triangle? 5. Okay? I would not combine the height because it's not getting any taller. It is getting wider when I combine the 2, but it's not getting any taller. So that height is going to stay 5. it now. Can I go ahead and get rid of that fraction? Yeah, Christian, how can I get rid of the fraction?
Wait, how do you get 6 for
The base. Again, so there's 3 on this side and 3 on the other side. I'm putting them together to make 6. Mallory, yes, ma'am? That is one way to do it. What's another way that I could have done it? How could I get rid of that fraction in the first step? Sorry? I could do half of the 6. Whatever floats your boat, because when I take half of 6, that gives me 3, and 3 times 5 is 15, which is exactly what Malik said. So whichever one works for you. I personally like getting rid of the fraction first. I like doing half of 6. I'm scratching them both out and replacing it with 3. And then I'm going to put the area is equal to 15. Okay? Inches squared. So is my answer 15 inches squared? No, I still need to add the both parts. So 30 plus 15 would give me 45 inches squared. Okay, so that's a different method. I think I'm more inclined to use that one than flipping on the other one. But again, that's my personal. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. Yeah.
So, I did the other method.
Yeah.
But then I didn't draw the picture, and then, I didn't line it.
Okay, so just make sure, because that is absolutely on mistake, and I will absolutely put that as an answer choice where you don't want to have it, because I know that's the most common mistake. Okay, do y'all want to try number 4 on your own? Awesome, ready, let's go. All right, again, lots of rock star math I love. Y'all had a good start. A equals B base for that rectangle. Lots of good stuff on there. The base was 6, and the height was to give me an area of 54. Awesome. Okay, the triangle gave us a little bit of grief, but we sort of got there with some help. I'm going to start with the triangle formula, which is very good. Now I need to figure that out. I'm going to go ahead and write down that 1/2 going to put in, because that's the biggest mistake, right? Right. The base length, no. The height, though, the height of the triangle, did that change at all? No, that height is still. It's still not very good, but how can I figure out the basic? All right, what did you see? Now 3. Okay, so let me translate that a little bit so we're off, right? That's our side conversation. This 6 is the same thing as that 6. If the whole thing is 10 and this chunk is 6, what's left to make up that 10? 4. Okay, a lot of people were saying 3. It is 4. A little bit off. So it's 1/2. I don't know why we're talking. The base is 4 times the height of 9. So again, you can multiply and then divide by 2, or you can get rid of that fraction. How where do you think I could get rid of that fraction? I could do 1/2 of 4 or 9, which do you think is easier to do 1/2 of? Probably 4. What's 1/2 of 4, Joshua? 2. Great, love it. Okay, class 2 times 9 is 18. What do I still need to do? Add them together. When I add them, I get 72 units squared. Love it, units squared. Yes, sir.
Can it be decimals? You can't like the answer.
72.0?
No, but.
Can there be an area with a partial with a decimal? Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's keep going. Method 3 is the traditional. I'm going to copy the star chart, because have we even used that star chart formula yet? No, we haven't. Okay, so let's use it now. So let's go ahead and copy it. That formula is right there. The one on the star chart has an H afterwards. Does that change anything? It really doesn't. Okay, Miss Lytle will usually put the H at the end just because that's what I do, but it's no different. Okay, so I'm going to start with that formula. A equals 1/2 B1 plus B2 times the height at the end. Formula, substitute, and solve. What did we say had to be true about the 2 bases? They have to be
parallel.
Parallel. So what 2 values are parallel in that trapezoid?
11 and 14.
11 and 14. Do we agree or disagree? Agree. We should agree. Okay, so let's substitute in those values. I don't know my area, is 1/2. Does it matter which one's which? No, I could put 11 plus 14 or 14 plus 11, it's gonna give me the same thing. My height is, nope, my height is 8. Okay, the thing that is perpendicular between the two. Okay, order of operations says I need to do what part first? The grouping, the parentheses, same thing. Very good. So 11 plus 14 class is 25. I'm going to copy everything else out. I'm leaving 25 in the parentheses, but I still need to solve. Would y'all rather find 1/2 of something or do 25 something? Come on. What did I do half of? 8. I mean, you could, but do you want a decimal?
Just one or two.
You pick your pick. Okay. 1/2 of 8 is 4. What's 4 times 25?
100. Can I get many people to not use that?
To not use my strategy? I mean, they're all my strategies because I'm using them all, so.
Yeah, I like this one the best.
All right, so I do like this one the best because it's one formula. I don't have to worry about adding at the end. It's one straightforward thing. Whichever one works for you. If you like breaking it down like the one above, go for it. If you like flipping the trapezoid, go for it. Okay, but let's do one on your own. Don't do 6 using that formula. Ready, set, go. One. Okay, last one, of course, you have one of those spiky ones. Trapezoid has an area. It gives me the area, and it's one of those solve backwards ones. What do I start with no matter what?
The formula.
The formula. Okay, let's say it out loud. What's that formula? A. Nope, not the 8.
Oh, yeah.
Determine the missing weight using that equation. You don't want to know how they got that equation. Okay, that's why I don't know why you're talking about. H is equal to 2A over B1 plus B2. Okay? The letters are the same thing. The A is area, base 1 and base 2 right there. Okay, let's substitute in our values. I'm looking for the height. I'm going to put 2 times the area. What is the area in this one?
12.
Nope. Nope. What is the area in this problem? 108. Over the bases, which are 12 and 15. Okay? So, to solve this, I need to do all this math. Before I divide with this fraction bar, I'm going to solve the top and I'm going to solve the bottom. Go ahead, take a few seconds, figure out what 2 times 108 is, and then 12 plus 15. Take your 7 minutes, solve it. It's a very quick second. Are you ready?
Yes, we do agree.
And then we need to divide by 27. And what do y'all think? That's about 30 going into. Look at the front digits, okay? Again, I would round that up to 30, so that'd be a 3 goes into 21. How many times? How many times does 3 go into 27 or 21?
7 times.
7 times. Let's do 27 times 7. Let's just see. I don't actually know what the answer is. That would be 49. I think I just said it one more time. Let's try it. 27. Wasn't that pretty close?
Yeah.
Okay. So the height would be 8. Your homework that I am checking is the
Even though we need
evens only.